number 34, and Mark Andrew, plus all Street Fighter B's and C's. Over to you, Robin.
Stuffing baked potatoes, eh? Well, there's Mark Andrew. He's sat there on the outside of that front row. But keep your eyes further back. Andy Denyer, look, second row of the grid. He's nailed the start so far. And he squeezes through again. And he's going to be second this time. But lovely start from that triumph of number 33, Andy Denyer. Actually, looks like the lights have gone out, I think. But, oh, yes, what a shame. Oh, Andy Denyer, a stonking start. But he realised, didn't he, Steve, he's highly professional rider. He knew when that was not going to work, and the machine tried enough.
Yep, so Keith Smith leads. Number 14, Mr. Potato Head. He heads into Queenway's corner here. Number 14, Beautiful Aprilia, 209. Just behind him, Jamie Wilkins, then Chris Matthews. Then Mark Andrew, Barry Utting leading Street Fighter B, and then it's Lee Hardy with the Street Fighter C there.
Yeah, there we see Sean Goldsmith in the blue leathers just ahead of the red leathers of Tony Hughes. They've been battling race after race, and up in front, Jamie Wilkins just has the power to carry himself past into the lead. And Keith Smith momentarily devoted. There we see Chris Matthews and Mark Andrew, third and fourth. So Smithy has had a few fastest laps, Steve, over the course of the last few seasons. And he certainly has the speed to live with Jamie Wilkins.
He does, yeah. He's a quick rider. He's an ex-Supermoto rider, so he's not worried about the bike getting a bit slippy here and there. But he's just not quite got the out-and-out pace that Wilkins has got at the moment. They're both lapping very quickly, actually. But as we see a couple of these Supermoto machines, that's Mick Everett there.
Yeah, Mick, who has picked up a few trophies this season already. So Barry Utting, I think, running in around about fifth place at the moment. Still Street Fighter B leader, as he has been for most of the season. One of the most experienced riders out there and having a great season. Being supported, as always, by Penrith Motorcycles. There, Rob Garland. Rob, he's a great character to have about any paddock, and does have some fantastic turnout machinery to play with as well.
Yeah, showing back the clothing. You certainly won't miss him in the paddock with his usual pink mohawk and some questionable choice of clothes. But
yeah, I'm all for that. At least you know where people are. Now, there, Mark Andrew just getting a little bottled up behind, I think that was Andy Castle there on Street Fighter B Honda. Yeah, see, down cases. Mark Andrew is another of the Street Fighter A competitors that's improving race by race, isn't he?
He is, yeah. He's really come on strong towards this, mid-part, towards the end of the season. It's good to see him up there. He did get into the habit of winning it quite a bit at the start of the season, but he's kicked that habit out. There's the Street Fighter C battle. Sean Goldsmith being chased by Tony Hughes. We saw Darren Smith going through there as well. Number 50 who's just got himself a new sponsor. And all of these Supermoto bikes, there's number 2 going through. That's Colin Dunstan.
Yeah, they're absolutely loving their battles in Street Fighter C. It's actually the biggest class, the best supported class, I should say, at the moment. It really has grown and grown. There's Wilkins up the front though with Keith Smith, very close company. Chris Matthews and Mark Andrew. The 4 of them, of course, able to make a little more hay in this race with the unfortunate disappearance on that very first lap of Andy Denyer.
Well, Barry Utting, number 30, if we get a short into, currently in 5th place overall. Here he is, right on song. I've got a funny feeling, Robin, he could well be claiming the championship in this race if he can keep it on the ice.
Right. We'll have to see. He's certainly picked up a lot of wins this year and very few DNFs. There's Mark Andrew in 4th place coming into Druids. Lovely line through there. And there, this superb battle. Sean Goldsmith and Tony Hughes. Tony, of course, the father of Mark Hughes, who we saw in the 600s earlier.
See Darren Smith, the 09 Moto 450 champion, compared to Street Fighter B this year. There's Barry Utting, possibly claiming his new title. There's Rob Garland, number 55, and Lee Hardy was just between them, but it's Wilkins at the front.
Yeah. Wilkins with the fastest lap in the Street Fighter A class as well. And that's a signal that although Keith Smith is still there or thereabouts, and Chris Matthews will be trying as hard as he like right to the end of the race, that they're unlikely to catch this guy up the front leading the championship, just threading his way between the back markers at the moment.
Yeah, there's a fair chance on this form that Wilkins could be crowned Street Fighter A champion at Anglesey coming up next on the 18th and 19th of September. There's Lee Hardy. He's actually been given a 10-second penalty in this race, is Lee, for jump start.
So Barriassi just still ahead of Class B, and there Tony Hughes pushing hard after Sean Goldsmith. They're the leaders in Street Fighter C. That battle has been continuing race after race after race, and look like any chance of that changing here. The two of them real head-to-head stuff, and actually a new lap record set here at Brands, in fact by Duncan McMillan in Street Fighter C. So there's a lot of guys with the speed in that class as well, but there's nobody here quite to match the pace of Jamie Wilkins up the front as he takes the checkered flag and the win overall and in Street Fighter A, and just relaxes back, brings him a little bit closer to the 2010 championship, and a shake of the hands there, and congratulations from Keith Smith, who was second, Chris Matthews third, Mark Andrew fourth, Barriassi was fifth, and Rob Garland in sixth. There we see Jamie Wilkins with Keith Smith and Chris Matthews on the podium, and in the standings, well, Jamie Wilkins with an almost unassailable lead from Chris Matthews, Mike Riddle, Mark Andrew, Keith Smith, and Lee Hardy in Street Fighter A. And on the B podium, Barriassi. Has he done enough? I think he might have done to clinch the Street Fighter B championship. Loses his hat, but there gains the 2010 championship ahead of Martin Stanier, Richard Harrison, Nigel Davis, Mark Lam, and Trevor Fife. And in Street Fighter C,